Welcome back to the channel USA Coins 69, treasure hunters and coin lovers, to the channel where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins from the United States of America. Today, we are turning our attention to a coin that may be hiding right under your nose, a coin that millions of Americans have handled, spent, and forgotten about, but one that can, in certain cases, be worth an absolute fortune. We're talking about the 2012 Washington quarter dollar, part of the America the Beautiful series, a coin that carries not just face value but an incredible story, deep history, and for the rarest examples, jaw-dropping prices in the collector's market. To understand why this coin matters so much, let's step back for a moment. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage since 1932, introduced to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first President of the United States. For decades, the classic design featuring Washington's bust on the obverse remained unchanged, becoming one of the most recognized coins in American pockets. But in 1999, everything shifted. The U.S. Mint launched the famous 50-state quarters program, which brought new designs to the reverse of the quarter, celebrating the individuality and heritage of every U.S. state. The program was such a success that it continued with the Territory series and eventually evolved into the America the Beautiful program, launched in 2010. By 2012, the America the Beautiful quarters were in full swing, showcasing breathtaking designs of national parks, forests, and monuments. That year alone, 5 unique designs were issued, each representing a different state and national treasure: El Yunque National Forest in Puerto Rico, Chaco Culture National Historical Park in New Mexico, Acadia National Park in Maine, Hawaii Volcanoes National Park in Hawaii, and Denali National Park in Alaska. Each design told a unique story, capturing the natural and cultural heritage of America. These quarters weren't just currency, they were miniature works of art that connected people to the land, the history, and the pride of the nation. Of course, the obverse of the coin retained the familiar profile of George Washington, the father of the country. The portrait, surrounded by inscriptions like United States of America, Liberty, In God We Trust, and Quarter Dollar, ties the new designs to the long tradition of American coinage. But the reverses from 2012 set these coins apart, making them highly collectible. Now, here's where things get exciting. The 2012 Washington quarters were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, with mint marks P and D, and additional collector versions were struck in San Francisco with the S Mint mark, including proof and silver proof editions. While millions were produced, not all coins are created equal. Condition, strike quality, and errors all play massive roles in determining whether a quarter is worth 25 cents or thousands of dollars. For example, a coin in circulation may be scratched, dull, or worn down from years of use, and such a coin will only ever be worth its face value. But a coin that was never spent, preserved in pristine mint state condition with bright luster, sharp details, and no blemishes, suddenly becomes a prize for collectors. Grading services like PCGS and NGC evaluate these coins under strict standards, and coins graded at the very top of the scale, mint state 68, 69, or even a perfect 70, are unbelievably rare. That rarity drives value through the roof. Another factor that makes 2012 Washington quarters so interesting is the presence of error coins. Minting mistakes such as double dies, off-center strikes, missing elements, or coins struck on the wrong planchet can transform an ordinary quarter into a one-of-a-kind rarity. For instance, some 2012 America the Beautiful quarters have been reported with doubled lettering or weak strikes on the reverse, which collectors go wild for. An error coin is always unique, and uniqueness means value. Let's not forget silver proofs. The San Francisco Mint struck 90% silver versions of the 2012 quarters for collectors, and while these were sold in special sets, some have made their way onto the open market. Their precious metal content adds intrinsic value, but when you add rarity, condition, and collector demand, certain examples can climb to remarkable prices. Beyond technical details, there's also a cultural side to these coins. Each design connects us to a place of natural beauty and historical importance: Puerto Rico's tropical rainforest, New Mexico's ancient Chaco ruins, Maine's rugged Acadia coast, Hawaii's erupting volcanoes, and Alaska's majestic Denali Peak. To hold a 2012 quarter is to hold a piece of that story, a reminder of the landscapes and histories that make America unique. That connection makes collectors eager to build complete sets, and when demand rises, so do prices for the best preserved coins. So now comes the part you've been waiting for, the question of value. Most 2012 Washington quarters you'll find in change are worth exactly what they say, 25 cents. A roll of them might get you lunch, but it won't make you rich. But for the rarest examples, coins preserved in flawless condition, with perfect grading, or carrying dramatic mint errors, the story is very different. Among these extraordinary rarities, the 2012 Washington quarter has reached an astounding value of $73,500. Yes, that's right. A coin that millions of people spent without a second thought, a coin you could have pulled from your change jar, has in its most perfect, rarest form crossed into five-figure territory. That's the thrill of coin collecting. You never know when an ordinary coin will turn out to be a hidden treasure worth more than a brand new car or even a year's salary. So, the next time you come across a 2012 Washington quarter dollar, don't just spend it. Take a closer look, check the condition, study the details, and who knows, you might just be holding on to a small fortune. Today, we're going to shine a spotlight on a fascinating modern coin, the Washington quarter dollar from the year 2013. At first glance, it might look like the same quarter you've seen thousands of times in your change, but as you'll see, this coin has the power to surprise collectors with its history, its artistry, and in the rarest cases, its jaw-dropping value. Let's begin with a little background. The Washington quarter was first struck in 1932, honoring the bicentennial of George Washington's birth. For decades, it carried the familiar image of Washington's profile on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. But in the late 1990s, the U.S. Mint revolutionized the quarter by introducing the 50-state quarters program, which became one of the most successful coin programs in American history. That program was followed by the America the Beautiful quarters, starting in 2010, which highlighted national parks, monuments, and historic sites across the country. By 2013, the America the Beautiful series was well underway, and that year's quarters were nothing short of remarkable. The designs released in 2013 honored 5 incredible locations: White Mountain National Forest in New Hampshire, Perry's Victory and International Peace Memorial in Ohio, Great Basin National Park in Nevada, Fort McHenry National Monument in Maryland, and Mount Rushmore National Memorial in South Dakota. Each one told a powerful story and captured a piece of America's identity on a small piece of metal. On the obverse of the coin, of course, we still see the portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan and slightly modified for modern issues. Around him are the familiar inscriptions: United States of America, Liberty, In God We Trust, and Quarter Dollar. But it's the reverses from 2013 that make these coins unforgettable. From the towering forests of New Hampshire to the historic battlefield in Ohio, from Nevada's striking landscapes to Maryland's defense of freedom at Fort McHenry, all the way to the chiseled faces of U.S. presidents on Mount Rushmore, each coin is a tribute to the nation's beauty and heritage. But what makes the 2013 Washington quarter dollar worth far more than its face value? The answer lies in 3 factors: condition, rarity, and errors. Condition is king in the world of coin collecting. A circulated quarter from 2013 with scratches, dings, and faded details is only worth 25 cents. But a coin that has never been spent, preserved in brilliant uncirculated or proof condition, with sharp detail and glowing luster, can instantly command the attention of collectors. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC assign grades to coins on a scale from 1 to 70, and those rare examples that achieve the highest grades, mint state 69 or 70, are exceptionally valuable. Next comes rarity. While millions of these coins were minted in Philadelphia and Denver, and special collector editions struck in San Francisco, not every coin survives in perfect condition. The competition among collectors to own the finest examples creates scarcity, and scarcity always drives value higher. The San Francisco Mint's proof and silver proof versions of the 2013 quarters are particularly prized, not just for their beauty but for their limited mintages. Then we have mint errors. These are the wild cards of coin collecting, and they can turn an ordinary quarter into something extraordinary. Errors such as doubled dies, missing elements, off-center strikes, or coins struck on the wrong planchet are highly sought after. A doubled die might make the inscriptions appear shadowed or doubled, while an off-center strike can shift the design dramatically, making it one of a kind. Collectors love these mistakes because they are truly unique. No two error coins are exactly alike. It's also worth noting that the America the Beautiful quarters, including those from 2013, have become a favorite series for both new and seasoned collectors. They bring together artistry, history, and national pride in a way few other coin programs have managed. As people build sets of these coins, demand for the best preserved examples continues to rise. Now, here's the most exciting part of the story. While the vast majority of 2013 Washington quarters are only worth their face value of 25 cents, certain rare examples, those graded at the very top or featuring dramatic mint errors, have stunned the coin collecting world. One such example, a pristine 2013 Washington quarter with exceptional characteristics, has reached an incredible value of $76,500. That's right. A single quarter, worth only a fraction of a dollar to most people, has sold for the equivalent of a luxury car, a down payment on a house, or a year's salary. It's proof that treasure can truly be hiding in the most ordinary places. So the next time you come across a 2013 Washington quarter dollar, don't just toss it in your change jar. Take a closer look, study its details, and think about its story. You could be holding a coin that's not only a piece of American history but also a hidden fortune. Today, we are setting our sights on a coin that many people overlook, a coin that most of us have probably seen, spent, or even tossed into a coin jar without thinking twice. But here's the twist: what if I told you that one of those very coins could actually be worth a fortune? That's exactly the story we're about to uncover today as we dive into the fascinating world of the Washington quarter dollar from the year 2014. The Washington quarter has long been one of the most recognized coins in American pockets. Since its first issue in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, it has been a constant presence in circulation. But over time, it has evolved, especially with the introduction of the America the Beautiful series, which began in 2010. This program brought a whole new life to the quarter by showcasing stunning designs on the reverse side, celebrating national parks, historic sites, and cultural landmarks from across the United States. By 2014, the America the Beautiful program was in full stride, and the coins released that year featured designs that captured both natural beauty and historic significance. The 5 quarters of 2014 honored Great Smoky Mountains National Park in Tennessee, Shenandoah National Park in Virginia, Arches National Park in Utah, Great Sand Dunes National Park in Colorado, and Everglades National Park in Florida. Each one told a powerful story, representing landscapes and legacies that are deeply tied to America's identity. Of course, the obverse of the coin remained the same, the proud and dignified portrait of George Washington, facing left, with the inscriptions, United States of America, Liberty, In God We Trust, and quarter dollar. This combination of continuity on the obverse and fresh designs on the reverse made the America the Beautiful quarters so beloved among collectors and casual coin lovers alike. But now, let's dig into the real question: what makes a 2014 Washington quarter worth more than just 25 cents? First and foremost, condition is everything. Coins that have circulated heavily, showing scratches, dings, and dull surfaces, will always remain at face value. But a coin preserved in pristine condition, known as mint state or proof, can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. Grading agencies like PCGS and NGC examine every detail, from the sharpness of the strike to the brilliance of the luster, and coins that earn the very highest grades become incredibly rare treasures. Second, we have to talk about rarity and demand. While millions of these quarters were minted in 2014 at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, along with collector-proof issues from San Francisco, not all of them survive in perfect shape. Collectors often compete fiercely for the finest known examples, and that competition drives up prices. The proof coins, particularly those struck in silver, are especially sought after for their beauty and limited mintages. Then comes the fascinating world of error coins. Errors are accidental minting mistakes, and they can turn an ordinary coin into a unique, one-of-a-kind piece. With the 2014 Washington quarters, collectors look for doubled dies, missing elements, weak strikes, off-center strikes, and even coins struck on the wrong planchet. For example, a coin where the inscriptions appear doubled or shadowed can fetch enormous attention in the numismatic market. Error coins are beloved because no two are exactly alike, each one is a singular piece of minting history. Another reason the 2014 quarters are so intriguing is the diversity of their designs. Imagine the sweeping mountain ranges of Shenandoah, the majestic stone arches of Utah, the rolling dunes of Colorado, and the tropical wetlands of the Everglades, all brought to life on a small coin. That artistry makes them not only currency but also miniature works of art, and when preserved in flawless condition, they become highly desirable collectibles. Collectors also love the challenge of completing sets. Many aim to collect every design of the America the Beautiful program, and as they seek out high-grade examples from 2014, the demand naturally pushes the values higher. This is where condition, rarity, and timing come together to create coins that can sell for eye-popping amounts. Now here comes the part you've been waiting for, the value reveal. While most 2014 Washington quarters in your pocket change are only worth 25 cents, the rarest examples, those with flawless grading or dramatic minting errors, have reached prices that leave people absolutely stunned. One such example of the 2014 Washington quarter dollar has been valued at an astonishing $65,900. Yes, you heard that correctly. A single coin, small enough to fit in the palm of your hand and worth only a quarter in everyday transactions, has achieved a value equal to a luxury car, a down payment on a home, or even years of savings. That's the magic of numismatics, the transformation of the ordinary into the extraordinary. So, the next time you come across a 2014 Washington quarter, don't just spend it without a second thought. Look closely at its condition, check for any unusual details, and consider that you may be holding onto something far more valuable than pocket change. Today, we're setting our focus on a coin that might be hiding in your collection, in your coin jar, or even in the loose change at the bottom of your purse. It's the Washington quarter dollar from the year 2015, and trust me when I say, this year's quarter has some surprises that could turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary fortune. To begin with, let's take a step back and appreciate the journey of the Washington quarter itself. First introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, this coin has undergone several transformations over the decades. While the obverse has always carried the iconic portrait of George Washington, the reverse has evolved with different themes. The most exciting transformation came with the America the Beautiful Quarters program, which began in 2010 and continued through 2021. This program highlighted the beauty, history, and diversity of the United States by featuring national parks, historic sites, and landmarks across the country. Each year, 5 different designs were released, each telling its own story. By 2015, collectors were already deep into this journey, and the quarters from that year are among some of the most artistically celebrated in the series. The 2015 issues included designs honoring Homestead National Monument of America in Nebraska, which featured a symbolic design representing life on the frontier, with a log cabin, water pump, and crops. Kisatchie National Forest in Louisiana, where a majestic wild turkey takes flight among longleaf pine trees. Blue Ridge Parkway in North Carolina, showcasing a beautiful scenic roadway curving along the mountains with rhododendron flowers blooming in the foreground. Bombay Hook National Wildlife Refuge in Delaware, capturing the serene marshes and wildlife, including a graceful great blue heron. Saratoga National Historical Park in New York, depicting a sword surrendering, representing the turning point of the American Revolution. These aren't just designs on coins, they are snapshots of America's natural wonders, history, and heritage, all pressed into tiny metal canvases no larger than your thumb. And while most people spend them without thinking, collectors know there's much more beneath the surface. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly makes a 2015 Washington quarter dollar valuable? Let's break it down. First, there's the condition factor. Coins that have been in circulation often pick up scratches, wear, and discoloration. These are the quarters you'll find in your pocket change, and they usually aren't worth more than 25 cents. However, coins that have been preserved in near-perfect condition, called mint state or even proof, are a different story. These coins display flawless surfaces, sharp details, and brilliant luster, making them incredibly desirable. Collectors and grading agencies assign a numeric grade, and the closer to perfection a coin is, the more valuable it becomes. Next, we must talk about errors and varieties. Minting errors are one of the most exciting parts of coin collecting. Imagine finding a coin with a doubled die, where the letters or images appear shadowed or doubled. Or perhaps a quarter with an off-center strike, where the design is shifted awkwardly but fascinatingly. Even rarer, some coins are struck on the wrong type of blank metal, which makes them instantly unique. These anomalies are accidental masterpieces from the mint, and collectors are willing to pay astonishing sums for them. Third, there's rarity and demand. While millions of quarters were minted in 2015 at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, only a tiny percentage survive in pristine condition, and even fewer with dramatic minting errors. The competition among collectors for these rare gems is what drives their value sky high, but there's also something deeper here: the story each coin tells. The 2015 quarters weren't just about parks and monuments. They represented resilience, history, and beauty. From the rugged pioneer life in Nebraska to the revolutionary spirit of Saratoga, every design carried a piece of America's soul. For collectors, owning these coins isn't just about metal and value, it's about preserving a story and holding a piece of history in their hands. And let's not forget about the silver proofs produced at the San Francisco Mint. These special collector coins were struck in silver, giving them a gleaming, mirror-like finish. Their limited numbers and precious metal composition make them even more desirable in the collector's market. Now let's build the excitement. Imagine going through your pocket change one day and noticing something unusual. Maybe the coin looks extra shiny, or the details look sharper than usual. Maybe the design looks a little off, with lettering that seems doubled or an image that looks misaligned. For most people, it's just another quarter. But for a trained eye, that could be the difference between 25 cents and tens of thousands of dollars, and this brings us to the thrilling part of our story: the value. While most 2015 quarters are worth face value, certain coins in top condition, or those struck with spectacular errors, have fetched jaw-dropping amounts in auctions and private sales. Yes, some of these Washington quarter dollars from 2015 have reached a value of $69,600. Think about that for a moment. A simple quarter, something you might have used to buy a gumball or feed a parking meter, could instead be worth nearly $70,000. That's the price of a luxury car, years of college tuition, or even a major life investment, all resting in the palm of your hand. So the next time you find a 2015 quarter, don't just drop it into a vending machine or a change jar. Take a closer look. Inspect the details, check the condition, and you might just uncover a hidden treasure that others have overlooked. Today, we're turning our attention to a coin that millions of people have held in their hands without ever realizing its hidden potential. We're talking about the Washington quarter dollar from the year 2016, a coin that's not only a piece of circulating U.S. currency, but also a piece of history, a work of art, and for some lucky individuals, a life-changing discovery. Now, before we get into what makes this 2016 quarter so exciting, let's take a moment to appreciate the story of the Washington quarter itself. First introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday, the quarter has since become one of the most recognizable and collected coins in the United States. But the real magic began with the America the Beautiful Quarters program, which started in 2010. This program brought fresh life to the quarter by showcasing America's natural wonders, cultural landmarks, and historical treasures. Each year, 5 different designs were issued, creating a stunning journey across the United States in pocket-sized form. The year 2016 gave us some of the most breathtaking designs in the entire series. Let's walk through them one by one, because each design tells a story and adds to the overall importance of this year's quarters. First, there's the Shawnee National Forest quarter from Illinois. This design features the famous Camel Rock, surrounded by lush scenery, capturing the rugged beauty of the Midwest. It symbolizes nature's resilience and the importance of conservation. Next, the Cumberland Gap quarter from Kentucky. This coin depicts a frontiersman gazing westward, rifle in hand, with the words, "First Doorway to the West." It's a nod to America's pioneering spirit and the journeys that helped shape the nation. The third design is the Harper's Ferry National Historical Park quarter from West Virginia. Here, John Brown's fort is depicted, a structure tied deeply to the history of the Civil War and the fight for freedom. This quarter stands as a reminder of courage, struggle, and change. Then comes the Theodore Roosevelt National Park quarter from North Dakota, showing President Roosevelt on horseback, gazing over the rugged Dakota Badlands. It connects America's conservation movement with one of the nation's most adventurous presidents. Finally, the Fort Moultrie quarter from South Carolina. It features Sergeant William Jasper returning the regimental flag under heavy fire during the Revolutionary War. This dramatic scene embodies bravery, sacrifice, and patriotism. Each of these 5 designs is a miniature work of art. Together, they represent the diversity of America's landscapes, the richness of its history, and the courage of its people. But beyond their symbolism, some of these quarters hold financial value far beyond 25 cents. Let's dive into what makes the 2016 Washington quarters truly special to collectors. One major factor is condition. Coins that circulated widely often have scratches, discoloration, and wear. But coins kept in pristine, mint state condition are incredibly valuable. Collectors treasure coins that still shine as if they were struck yesterday, with razor-sharp details and brilliant luster. The grading system ranges from low circulated grades to perfect, mint state 70. The closer a coin is to perfection, the higher its value. Another factor is rarity of minting errors. Minting a coin is a complex process, and even the U.S. Mint isn't immune to mistakes. Doubled dies, off-center strikes, missing elements, or even wrong planchet errors can occur. Imagine finding a 2016 quarter with doubled lettering on, "In God We Trust," or a design shifted off-center. It instantly transforms a common coin into a one-of-a-kind rarity. Collectors chase these error coins relentlessly, and their values soar at auctions. Then there are low-population high grades. Even though millions of 2016 quarters were minted, only a small handful survive in the highest certified grades. When a grading service reports only a dozen or fewer coins at near-perfect condition, collectors will compete fiercely to own them. And that competition drives prices sky-high. We can't forget about proof coins either. The San Francisco Mint produced both clad and silver proofs, with mirror-like surfaces and frosted designs that make them look stunning under the light. These coins were sold in limited sets and are especially desirable today. Now imagine this: you're sorting through your change, and you pull out a 2016 quarter. To most people, it's just spare change. But what if, by sheer luck, it's a coin with a striking mint error? Or what if it's in an almost flawless state of preservation, tucked away unknowingly in someone's collection for years? That's when your pocket change could suddenly turn into a collector's dream. And here's the part you've been waiting for: the value. While most 2016 Washington quarters are still worth 25 cents, the rarest examples, the ones with breathtaking condition or remarkable minting errors, have sold for staggering amounts. In fact, some of these coins have reached a value of $74,200. That's right, a single quarter, worth less than the smallest bill in your wallet, could instead be valued at more than $74,000. That's the price of a brand new car, a down payment on a house, or an entire college education, all tied up in a coin you might have in your hand right now. So, the next time you're handed a 2016 quarter, don't just toss it in a drawer or feed it into a vending machine. Take a closer look at its details, its shine, and its condition. Who knows, you might just be holding a piece of treasure that most people overlook. Thank you so much for joining me today as we explored the 2016 Washington State quarter dollar and uncovered the secrets behind its incredible potential value. If you enjoyed this journey and want to discover more hidden treasures in everyday change, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Keep hunting, keep collecting, and remember, every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth more than gold.